Dean Withers talking about Charlie Kirk is so crazy. I think it's crazy that he's
Now-
like talking about some serious shit and he's like crying, and then there's a join my fan club sticker on his head. But I guess like that's just TikTok, right? Like that is just a crazy look. You know what I mean? Fake. He changed after he got negative feedback. What do you mean? Who changed? Who got negative feedback? I have no idea what the you guys are talking about. He could have turned it off and he didn't. It'd be like you doing what you do as a VTuber. Dean got negative feedback and posted a follow-up to his stream. I mean, like I said, I understand why people like Dean or Parker, especially Parker who was there. POC Twitter and POC Talk are just pissed at liberal debate bros because they've only used POC struggles as a talking point against people like Charlie, just to turn around and shed more tears for Charlie against centrist clicks and MSM Night live invitations. Sean the Black was right again, Hassan. I don't know if it's as cynical. It might be. But I suspect it's because like you saw they saw a dude that they know that they've been around getting shot. For real though, on Insta, like 40,000 libs defending Dean. I do understand why people would be frustrated because like Charlie Kirk's entire output, like his entire political output, is just straight up dehumanizing black people, brown people, gay people, trans people. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the whole thing that he's done. So when you see somebody who you thought was like defending you and defending your rights, defending your humanity, all of a sudden shed some real ass tears, it probably pisses people off, where they think like this is not just a talking point for us, this is our lives, right? Having said that, however, like I said, he's a young dude who just saw a guy who he was like following around the country trying to debate him get, and that probably is traumatizing. I mean, it was traumatizing for me too. He's a commentator himself. He does these like public things himself. It's like seeing your worst fear in real time materialize in front of your eyes. My reaction to the initial video that I watched was also fairly traumatic. And as you guys know, I see this kind of stuff from Gaza all the time. Dean's biggest problem is that he still hasn't addressed Charlie's role in the creation of this climate. It's only been tears and no analysis, and not being marginalized is frustrating for a lot of people. But I also think he's allowed to be sad. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I don't know his commentary at all. But I do agree, if he hasn't like talked about Charlie Kirk's pervasive and negative influence, then that's a whole different story. When you watched the close-up, it made it obvious it was traumatizing for you. The vid was shocking. I'm sure live was worse. I mean, he wasn't there live, but his friend was. Parker was. So I get why he'd be crying and shit, I mean, if you're in an active situation where you watched a dude that you have debated that kind of does the same thing that you do, it makes sense. What is this? There was a tweet about your reaction. Y'all need the chill. It's very much okay for us not to be upset and nervous about the shootings. A political commentator that came up with him on the opposite side is terrifying. Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of threats, that was I don't know if people were mad about my reaction, but I'm not even aware of these things. I think people, understandably, especially if people are like black, brown, undocumented, trans, like they see this stuff and they go, what the fuck is this? They see this stuff and they go, oh, you're not like, in that heated moment, I think they just assume that this person has like more empathy for a peer, a counterpart, than they do for like all the people that they're supposedly speaking for. Friend of the show, Vanilla, had a great take about Charlie. Ooh, let's see.
I'm gonna get on here and make a video about this, but y'all done pissed me off in my Instagram requests. I basically reposted something on Instagram on my story saying that Charlie's death cannot be separated from the systems that he spent his entire career platforming and trying to, promote. And yes, before you ask, every single person who messaged me something like that, along the lines of being like, fuck you, Vanilla, what the fuck, they were, you guessed it, white, and they also all had profile pictures of them and their fucking mid-ass husbands standing on a beach that looked exactly like this. But that's besides the point, because then if I was like, hey, there's children in Palestine that are getting killed every day, they're like this. And then I'm like, hey, so what about all the schools and everything?
It's true. It's true. It's just, it's crazy. A lot of these people exist in this incredibly violent environment, and they just have no fucking real tears or no real reaction or no real demand to stop this kind of bloodshed from taking place. Okay. And they just want to use this situation. It almost feels like they want to use the situation to be like, why aren't you responding the way I want you to respond to this? I struggle with leftists who wouldn't take the time to think about why watching a video of a dude getting shot in the neck would make someone cry. Of course, I understand that split-second reaction from folks in marginalized communities and it's still like, damn. So can we not have empathy for his wife and kids who will never get to see their father again? Wait, what are you fucking talking about? Did I say that? Am I saying any of those things? No, you're imagining things that I'm not saying. Here's the thing, okay? A lot of people are demanding that you grieve, okay? A lot of people are demanding that you grieve for a person who absolutely, and we don't have to we don't have to engage in hypotheticals, a person that has not grieved for people like yourself and has actually used every single opportunity to continue advancing a very violent agenda, okay? I think that is a little unacceptable. If you are to say political violence is completely unacceptable in a civilized society, it should not happen, I'm with you. That's my take as well. I think it's fucking ridiculous. I too was traumatized by the footage of a person that I've known for many years, a person that I've debated on multiple occasions, and a person that was supposed to debate. Having said that, however, I think a lot of people just turn around and go, no, it's not enough that you said political violence is unacceptable. It's not enough that you said, it's unacceptable that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, right? I want you to fucking cry real tears for me right now. And that demand, I think, requires someone to cynically lean into whatever your ascribed notions of humanity are. Like, what do you mean? People react to it differently. It's so weird. It's such a weird fucking thing where people just come up to you and they're like, you have to. It reminds me of how Democrats would be like, it's not enough that you voted for Joe Biden. You have to actually be excited to vote for Joe Biden. You weren't sufficiently excited to vote for Joe Biden, so you're still a fucking fake. You're a phony. You're not with the cause. And it's like, the fuck do you want, man? You just want me to lie? Like, I don't get it. You want me to engage in performative grief? Like, this is so fucking strange. It's such a strange demand that you're making. That's what it feels like right now. The environment is like, demanding that there is performative grief. And if you don't demonstrate sufficient grief, and I've seen it online, okay? I've seen people clip my, not immediate reaction, but like subsequent statements that I've made after. And people are just like clipping them to be like, see, he's making fun of Alex Jones. He's not sufficiently saddened by the atrocities that unfolded. And it's like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, where are we at? Where the fuck are we at? The majority of the conservative and even liberal infrastructure would be fucking popping champagne openly if I was in the crosshairs. The very same people that wrote these glowing obituaries talking about how he was an incredible organizer, was an incredible activist, not reflecting on his output overall, not reflecting on his message overall, simply sheltering the public from what his major output was, but simply just saying this was a real mover and a shaker, but not in which direction, are the exact same people that would be talking about how I had it coming, you know? I'm not doing that, for the record, okay? I'm not doing that at all for Charlie Kirk or for anybody. But it is ridiculous that it's not enough. It's not enough that, you know, you say, this is unacceptable, this is terrifying, this is really fucked up, right? It's not enough that you say that. You have to also just mourn in the same way that they're mourning, feel the same things that they're feeling. And it blows my mind. I don't know. Luckily, I've never had to do that in my career, and I will not do that. If there's something that I think is the utmost indecency, it's just like engaging in performative grief. Like, if you are a liberal author and you wrote if you're Ezra Klein, if your name is Ezra Klein and you're a liberal author, what do you think your black and brown coworkers are going to feel about the thing that you posted on New York Times? You know what I mean? What do you think they're going to think about you? Because they're either going to think you subscribe to Charlie Kirk's worldview and all of the heinous things that he has said, or they're going to think you at least don't give a shit, you know? That's it. They're going to think you don't care about these kinds of values. This is simply a talking point for you. The extent of your advocacy about these issues stops at optics.